When I was being told last year that I've been assigned to the Caribbean Princess for this Panama Canal, I was so excited, and I have to thank you, the company, to have chosen me as the captain to go through Panama Canal, as this will be the largest cruise ship, will be the new Panamax ship going through the new locks for Panama. So it's very exciting, and it's an honor to be the captain of the ship. I will wake up very early in the morning. I know usually with my experience through Panama Canal will be a busy area to approach the area. So I will be early on the bridge. We know already what we expect and what to do. Then we will enter the Cristobal breakwater. It's where everything starts to happen at that point. We will have authority, one pilot coming on board, clearance, and everybody needs to board the ship. We will not move, we will move actually very, very slow, or there is a chance as well that we drop the anchor according with what the Panamanian authority decide, hopefully not dropping anchor, but just a slow motion. Until the ship is clear, we are not able to proceed towards the locks.
Once you get on board, you need to know the characteristics of the ship. First of all, what you can count on, especially on equipment, name it propulsion, lateral propulsions, and assisting equipments. And then you go into what is a briefing about the plan itself, of time to get to the locks, speeds, where you are going to expect the resources that you will be needing, like tugboats and Panama Canal crew that will be boarding to help you assist the maneuver in the locks. So it's a lot of information that needs to be exchanged between master and pilot.
So the whole day starts basically at 5 o'clock in the morning, when we're up ready to get off the ship onto a small boat and take us to shoreside. The whole day, the way we film it and the way it's done, it's like a story. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And for us to get off first thing in the morning at 5 o'clock is just the beginning of the story.
In order to build the canal, the first thing they had to do is get the approval of the people. All the people, not just the president, not just an assembly or Congress, but all the people. Everybody had these cards they had to vote on, either sí or no. It was very simple. Everybody had to vote. So it was passed by 78% of the population. So once it was passed, then they began to work out the plans and everything. The original budget was for $5.5 billion. But because they found some faults that they didn't expect to find, new faults that they discovered, because this is a very active area seismically, they had to put some additional work into it. So it ended up costing $6 billion.
It has been a lot of work from the past 3 years from the company side, and then the last bit and bits are made on board to make sure that we go we have all the correct information and we go through the locks properly.
So as we arrive in the locks, the sun's just rising and the ship's ready to come in. We have to get our cameras dehumidified because obviously it's very humid here in Panama. Once we've got it ready, we have 5 or 6 people shooting the locks. So we have 2 people in a helicopter, and then we have 3 of us down below, and then we have our driver that stays with us and takes us all through the locks and from A to B, from Cristobal over to the Agua Clara, and Agua Clara to Gatun, to back to Agua Clara, and then back to Cristobal again. So it's a big workup for the day.
No, I'm not worried because all the information available to me are clear. I know exactly what I'm going to expect. I know the way that we will work with the pilots and the tugboats, so I do not expect any surprise because we know the procedures and we are ready for the transit. As well, the bridge team has already been briefed. Then we are going to brief again, to meet again with all the officers and go step by step through each procedures in order that we are all on the same page and there is no surprises. So it's all about the planning as well from our side. Everybody has to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it.
To build the new locks, the President of Panama and the Congress of Panama had to put this to the public, and they had to vote on it.
Yeah, it was a big challenge. How did it impact in the society of Panama? It made a huge impact because, first of all, it created a lot of work, really a lot of work for the people of Panama. We had, in one time, more than 5,000 people working for the project at one time, and then by and by reduced while it was coming into end. But it made a real impact in the economy of the people of Panama, because it created a lot of jobs for the time of that.
What really amazes me every time I come through here, what happens if you buy a computer? How long does your laptop last? Maybe 2 years, if you're lucky. How long does your printer last? If you buy a toaster, how long does that last? If you have a cell phone, your $600 iPad phone, now you gotta get another one, right? Here's something that was built and designed 100 years ago, and it's still working exactly as it was designed after over 100 years. This, although it's a new lock, it's a bigger lock, but it's still the same system. Still works totally by gravity, water flowing in. It's amazing.
We have to capture the ship with lots of different perspectives, to give you a perspective, because what you see from the ship is one-dimensional, and we're trying to give you what we call a second dimension. So we have all perspectives all in one DVD.
First, we are happy to have visitors come in and see the unique experience, because it's not done quite as this one anywhere in the world. In some parts you see the locks is only one set. Here we have 3 chambers, which we go up real high on the water. I think this is one of the, except for the Great Lakes, this is one of the highest points that you go directly in 3 steps up 87 feet nowadays, which is about 26 meters. And well, I'm happy they have the experience, and I hope they enjoy it as much as we do, the pilots and the people who work here. What I expect them to take away, the professionalism, which things are done in Panama, and that they have a really nice, experience on the locks.
It's a big deal. We want to make sure that every passenger is going to enjoy the passage, and so there are all the hotel staff around to make sure that we can supply all the needs of our guests. It will be very hot, so I'm sure that the waters, the drinks are always ready, available for them.
When the United States was operating the canal, it was not a money-making project. It was designed to get ships from point A to point B, Atlantic to Pacific. Panama, different story. They're there to make money, thus the big toll numbers we've been seeing. For this ship example, $550,000, that's the base price.
It's a matter of pride, you know, that something done by us, the Panamanian people. It was a matter that had to be done anyways, you know, because of the market, of the shipping market. Ships are getting bigger and bigger every time. So the expansion was needed, and it was a real matter of pride that it was done.
The new locks, it's the grandest engineering spectacle ever. Yes, the American locks are 103 years old and still functioning today. Only 3 closures, a rock slide back in 1915, too much water in 2010, and the invasion of Panama to take out Noriega in 1989. So here it is, a year and a half later. We'll see how the Agua Clara locks do and the rest of the expansion project, but something to always witness and admire.
Considering that the Caribbean Princess is 290 meters, which is 950 feet long, 36 meters wide, which is 118 feet wide, the new Panama Canal has the width of 55 meters, which equate to 180 feet wide, for 427 meters long, which is 1,400 feet long. So when the older canal, the older ships, the Coral class or the Sun class, we were very tight inside the locks. This time we have an extra 450 feet in the length and an extra 30 feet on the side. So there is less stress to keep the ship off the walls. On the Coral Island class we have basically 1 foot, 1.5 foot each side. Now we have approximately 15 feet each side, so much wider the chamber and make us a little bit more comfortable.
This season, 233 cruise ships will be using the canal, but only 18 big ones like us will be using the new locks. And of those 18 ships, the Caribbean Princess has 13 of those calls, so we're going to hold the record as the world's largest passenger ship to do the transit.
For me, the busy moment and what is the more critical stage, it's the approaching of the locks, center the door, and enter the locks. And each time we enter the locks, we need to arrive to the correct position because we need to make sure that the doors are clear from the ship and they can lock the door behind us. and only when the ship is in the correct position with the door locked, they start to flood the chamber. So, and again, that's it's a very critical moment because the ship has to remain away from the walls. The process is faster because there are tanks that should be available that are on the side of the locks. So the locks door are not anymore like a regular door opening and closing, but are sliding doors. So the system is completely new and has been designed as well to be faster.
These rolling gates, there's 16 of them in all. They were built in Trieste, Italy. They each weigh 4,000 tons and they're paired. So there's 8 on this side. On the Pacific side, there's 8 more for a total of 16. That's a lot of gates, and they roll open, and that's a highlight as you're going through. Look for those gates opening.
Previously, I was on ships that used to do the Panamax ships that used to go through the old locks of Gatun Lake, Miraflores, Pedro Miguel. And obviously coming to these new locks, the difference between the old locks and the new locks is almost to me like the old car factories. When you had the car factories, you had that production line and you had people manually riveting, putting doors on and so forth. You had hundreds and hundreds of people working in that factory. And now factories are run by robotics, they're run by computers, and it's run by robots. That's pretty much what we found in Agua. There's hardly anybody working on the actual quayside, actually on the locks themselves. Everything is all computerized. There's maybe 70 people maximum, where on the old locks you're talking hundreds and hundreds of people all doing work. Here, it's very sparse.
What it means to Panama is that this operation is preparing for the future. It's able to deal with today's ships, most of them. There's still some ships that are too big to go through here. So the canal is already making plans for yet another expansion to help those ships be able to come through. So this is a big profit money-making effort for the canal. When the US did this, it was just a service. It was primarily built by the US to get military ships back and forth. And it was a service to the other ships. But as the rest of the world began to use this, the whole world meets here. World commerce goes through here. So Panama decided they would run it as a business. So today, for us to go through is over $717,000.
The question we get is, how much money is Panama making off this new project? It cost $5.4 billion to build. Well, let's see now. The largest toll to date in a year and a half has been $830,000. That's only one toll in a year and a half. Imagine what they're going to rake in over the course of time. Yet to be seen.
Most of the money after securing the investment and maintenance for the canal goes to the government, which is the one who at the end puts the money where it needs to be put. Name it on social security, health, and development also of the country, infrastructure. So at the end, the money goes from here to the government, and the government is the one who spreads it around the country, making a huge impact, actually.
Actually seeing something like the Caribbean Princess come in through the Agua Clara locks and see the size of it when it first comes in, because obviously it's whichever level it comes in at, especially when it's coming back from the opposite direction, from Gatun Lake, it's really high, it's massive, it's the size of the ship that you'd always know. It's like being on water level. And as you see the whole ship just sink down to like deck 7 and lose the whole from 1 to 5, 1 to 7, it's amazing. It's just an amazing thing to see how water and how gravity works.
There's nothing in the way. There's nothing left to say. There's just a perfect day for us to use. There's nothing else to see.
Well, I hope the guests on board, they are going to keep forever this unique experience, and they can pass to the friends, to the family, to the social media as well, the various blog, their experience, and the other guests, other passengers, new passengers reading and hear the experience that they got, make them come on board and try themselves the emotion that they can live in each of them.
I mean, for me, just coming through the Agua Clara locks, you're making history, you know? There's only been one other cruise ship to actually go through the Agua Clara locks. So for us to be the second one, and actually the biggest cruise ship, so we are the biggest cruise ship to ever go Agua Clara, and the very first Princess ship, you know, for you on board to go through this, on this experience, of this inaugural season, is a fantastic thing to happen to you.
Well, that day for me will be very intense day, and probably I will not realize until the ship is docked in the afternoon in Cristobal, because it will be very intense, the arrival, the transit, and the transit back to the ocean. But I think during the night and the day after, I will realize exactly what has been done. So it will be, that will be the emotion, not the day of a transit for sure.